Good evening, viewers at home. My name is Adeyemi Obadimu. We are on to Let's Talk on Newsextra. This is our sport segment. As I am bringing you another guest today, I have here with me Mr. Michael Azeez Ogunsiji, the Swan Secretary in Ogun State. Good evening, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, good evening, Adeyemi. Good evening, viewers at home.
Today, we will be looking at the matches that was played over the weekend and we round it up with Man City and Real Madrid that was played yesterday. Over the weekend, Aston Villa defeated Tottenham 2-1, while Chelsea and Nottingham Forest played 2-2 draw. Manchester United defeated Wolves 2 goals to nothing, while Man City defeated Everton 3-0. Arsenal versus Brighton, that was shocking because Brighton defeated Arsenal 3-0. My brother, quickly, let's talk on Tottenham and Aston Villa. How do you see that match?
Well, it's a surprising cracker because when you look at the two teams on the log of the table, you realize that Tottenham were sitting seventh on the table, while Aston Villa is trailing them with eight, sitting eight on the log of the table. However, with the same 7 points, having played 36 matches, and Tottenham is actually topping Aston Villa on 2 goals difference. Tottenham has 6 goal difference, while Aston Villa has 4 goals difference. So you agree that the clash between the two sides at the weekend was actually to prove a kind of a superiority at the same time to also fight for their Europa League ticket for next season. So for the two sides, for me, for Aston Villa has done the unthinkable this season because nobody actually expected that they will come to the party with that performance they've displayed so far this season. When you look at in this English Premier League, many people had believed with especially with the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea, who actually spent a whopping sum of 300 million pounds to actually rebuild the team, and people were like, "It's going the season this the table or the league this season is going to actually be between Chelsea and certain Manchester City and perhaps the big boys like Liverpool, like the Man
United,
United, and then Tottenham and the
the likes of
certain
Arsenal as well.
and the rest of Arsenal. But unfortunately, I know Chelsea seems to be disappointing this season. At the same time, Liverpool, who despite their performance last season, people felt they will also come to the party this season and they will actually show they are meant to. But unfortunately, after the sales of Sadio Mane, the Senegalese to Bayern Munich, during the transfer window, Liverpool has struggled, to fight their mojo. But for Aston Villa, when on comparative analysis, when you look at a team against a certain Tottenham that has the likes of Harry Kane, the likes of Song, and the likes of Ndobele, and
Others.
and the host of others, many people will believe they will actually be among the top four this season. But unfortunately, the owners, of Tottenham actually, not fighting for laurel, just as their former coach said. That is the former Chelsea coach Antonio Conte said, that what the owners were doing, is not actually, to help the team to win laurel. And truly, if you look at that statement, you see that Tottenham had higher big coaches in the world, the likes of Jose Mourinho managing them at the same time leaving the club without winning any trophy with them. And then you have the likes of Antonio Conte coming in as well. And then what has happened? Look at the Pochettino, having coached them for ages. And then people were like, what is actually wrong with Tottenham? But Aston Villa for me this season, I think that for me, considering the team's budget and the team's uh, caliber of players that they played this season, for me, they're the best team this season because nobody actually expected them to be in that position. People would have thought they would be in the 10th or 15th, in the middle of the table. But surprisingly, they are going for Europa League.
Okay. Mr. Michael, thank God you called in last time when we are doing this sports segment. You said Chelsea. You said something about Chelsea last week. You said, well, you said Chelsea, they are facing their difficult time. Again, they drew 2-2 to Nottingham Forest. Do you have any reservation? Were you disappointed?
Well, I'm not disappointed because as a Chelsea fan, when you look at the history of Chelsea this season or their performance this season, sacking, bringing in coaches, firing coaches, one would expect that of course we agree that the team is going through a rebuilding process because when after the sacking of um, um, Thomas Tuchel, and bringing in a certain Frank Lampard before the Potter was brought in. Lampard, is so disappointing that as a former Chelsea player, a legend, somebody who has etched his name in gold in the minds of the fans there, actually, was disappointing as a coach, as a manager, for the team. And many people had felt it's going to be a lot of experience, to bear, being a former player, and who knows the tradition of the team, who knows what winning means for Chelsea fans, who knows what winning laurels, winning trophies mean for Chelsea fans. But unfortunately, it seems to be a baby. It seems to be on IT, or let me say on CWS. So for Lampard, Chelsea is too big for him. I think he needs to go back to the championship to go and manage the likes of Burnley or the likes of other smaller clubs in the championship. But for Chelsea this season, you quite agree with me that the problem of Chelsea has to do with the politicking, the politics behind the scenes by the English FA. You know, the English FA and the Queen of England, or let me say the British government, forcing the owner, the former owner, Roman Abramovich, to actually sell that club due to the crisis between Ukraine and Russia. But unfortunately, this is football. What has football got to do with the crisis between Russia and Ukraine? And we all know that football, especially not only sports, football especially is a unifying factor in the whole world where warring nations are waging war against each other. We use football to promote peace, to promote unity. But unfortunately, the English government seems to be differ on that, and they play their politics. Perhaps for me, I believe that they are being threatened with the resurgence of Chelsea. They are being threatened with the progress of Chelsea. They are being threatened with the way Chelsea, is progressing in Europe and in the world. Because when you look at Chelsea history, the English league history, it is usually the likes of Man U, Manchester United, or Arsenal, bringing laurel to England. But when Chelsea came into the past in 2004, ever since then, Chelsea has broken the genes, and then they break the monopoly in England, which create a lot of the hatred for the club. So for Chelsea, they are going through a difficult period. But I believe with the current crop of players in the team and the new manager that was just signed recently, that is Mauricio Pochettino, the former PSG coach there. So and with some strikers that are being touted in Europe right now to be brought to the club, the likes of Victor Osimhen, our own Nigeria big boy there, who is being touted to come to Chelsea. I believe what Chelsea lacks now is a point man, is a hit man, a goal poacher who will actually do the finishing work just like Alan is doing for Manchester City. So for next season, Chelsea, I believe they will come back stronger and better.
Okay. Let's just talk about Manchester City and Everton. Manchester City defeated Everton by 3 goals to nothing. Can Everton survive the relegation?
Well, all things being equal, if you look at the log of the table, they are currently sitting 17th on the log of the table. No, 16th on the log of the table, while the rest of the leagues and others, are already relegated. But for Everton, it's just a point that is driving them away between the relegated team and Everton. Everton is sitting on the 17th on the log of the table with about 21 points. And if you look at the other three teams that are already relegated, it's just only 1 point and they're setting them adrift. However, I believe their next match against Wolverhampton Wanderers on the weekend on Saturday, if they could revive their uh, um, their season with that match, if they could get a draw or the maximum 3 points.
Let's wait till weekend. Let's wait till weekend. Arsenal lost to Brighton. That was shocking. That was surprising for all football lovers because we are watched the match. I was no, if we are going to beat Brighton 3-0, 4-0. At the end of the day, Brighton defeated Arsenal by 3 goals. Do you have any comment on
For
that?
me, it's not shocking. It's not shocking because when you look at the tradition and the custom of Brighton of Wolverhampton are there, Brighton are Wolves there, you will agree that this season Brighton has done they've done the unimaginable, the unthinkable. Beating the big boys in the English Premier League this season, beating the likes of Chelsea, bottom and away, beating the likes of Liverpool, beating the likes of I think Man City too or Manchester United. They beat either of the two. So for me, Brighton, even despite the sales of their, wing back, that is Cucurella to Chelsea, and of
Yeah.
course their coach, that is Harry Potter, to Chelsea as well. They've actually become more stronger and stronger every month, every day, every match. So for me, Brighton, they have done the unthinkable this season, and it's not surprising beating Arsenal as well because for Arsenal, I told people they are not going to win the league this season. Right from the blast of the whistle, from the commencement of the season this year, I told people, I mean last year rather, Arsenal will not win the league because they like that winning mentality, they like that killer instinct. Arsenal are just the usual, entertainers. Are just the usual mesmerizing boys who just want to play for fun. And I told people that look, it is when you least expected Arsenal to perform. That is when they perform, and it is when you expect them to actually get the prize that they won't fumble, and that is what is playing out right now. What actually causing Arsenal season this season is due to fatigue and overuse of these players. These players, that winning mentality, that tradition, that culture is not yet instilled in these boys. They believe for every manager to go there, go and show what you can do and prove to you that they can play better football. But football has gone far beyond the tiki taka, has gone far
Yes.
beyond just entertaining, playing for fun. You have to get that killer instinct which Arsenal like right now. Of course, give it to them because nobody expect that Arsenal will be in that position right now. Nobody, ever give them that any chance. Particularly me, myself, I not give them that chance. I had thought that Arsenal would be in their usual fifth position and not go to Champions League. But look at it, the big boys, the mighty,
Falling.
the mighties are already falling. The likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, struggling to get the Champions League ticket. Let alone Arsenal. Now Arsenal is there now, representing England. Good for them, but for me, losing to Brighton is not shocking because if you look at what Brighton have done this season, it's fantastic. It's a good job for them. So I give it to the management, I give it to the coach, and I give it to the players as well.
Okay, viewers at home, let's go to La Liga. Elche defeated Atletico Madrid by a lone goal, while Espanyol and Barcelona they play 4-2. Barcelona defeated Espanyol. UEFA Champions League, Inter Milan 1, AC Milan 0. Manchester City 4, Real Madrid 0. Mr. Wake, let us round this program up with Manchester City versus Real Madrid. I can remember vividly during the last program. You tip Almighty Real Madrid to win the Champions League, to win to defeat Man City, if I'm not mistaken. But now Manchester City have defeated Real Madrid. What is your take on that?
Well, that is football for you. Football is mathematics. Just like the mathematical Shekodegbanon stated that when you do your homework, when you do your defensive work and your attacking work very well, you get the results. And what's actually paved way for Manchester City this season is their midfield. They've been able to invest so much in their midfield, and they are reaping the reward right now. So what they did that was spectacular against Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium on Wednesday night was they were able to dominate the possession of the ball. They were able to control the midfield. They were able to hijack the midfield. And the greatest undoing of Carlo Ancelotti's team is not using a certain Kamavinga in the midfield. You know, your best leg, your best players that you used in the first leg at the Santiago Bernabeu a week ago, you rested them for Manchester City at their fortress, which is their own soil. So it's difficult for you to come to Etihad. And if you look at the record this season, Manchester City has not lost a single game at home this season. They have never lost a single game at home this season. So the Etihad has become their fortress this season, and they consolidated on that. They work on that, and they hack on that. So for Manchester City, they've done, you know, the unthinkable this season because people had touted Real Madrid to actually go to the final for the fifth consecutive time. But unfortunately, Manchester City came to the party with all their minds and give it to Pep Guardiola. Guardiola actually did his homework, told his boys to go all out, attack, control the midfield. Don't allow them to get possession of the ball. Don't give them space. And if you look at the midfield, a certain Rodri, was actually the master class in that encounter on Wednesday night because he was everywhere on the pitch, and they ensured that they cut off the likes of Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, and the likes of Benzema. It's because they control the midfield away from Real Madrid player. And then another undoing of Real Madrid is that Real Madrid failed to, explore the creativity of these young boys.
They focus more on Hala.
They fail to explore the creativity of the young boys they have the likes of the Asensio, they have the likes of Rodri there. So Kamavinga also is there. So they were unable to use, because when you look at the Real Madrid team, the majority of these players are in their late 30s. Toni Kroos, whose contract will expire in less than 6 months, and then is already about 25 years old. Look at Luka Modric as well, over 30, and most of others like that. Majority of them are old in that team. And for you to play a certain Manchester City, you need to bring in your A game. You have to use your flexibility. You have to use your pace. You have to be mobile. But Real Madrid players, they don't have that pace again. They have that mobility again to run everywhere on the field. They were only waiting for a mistake of Manchester City to actually use a counter attack and bombard them with goals. But unfortunately, Manchester City were able to contain that. They were able to contain their movement. They were able to dominate the midfield. They were able to gain possession and not give them any space to play their usual tiki taka or give them a free space to do a killer pass. So that was the
Benzema was caged.
He was caged because the midfield was not operating. The midfield was not functioning. Last of Modric and Toni Kroos were not actually supplying the needed goal. Reason because the Manchester City midfielders were able to control them, did not give them any space to get the true pass to Benzema. That was why the match went away. Nobody expected the match would go that way. In a 4-0 victory for Man City, it was unthinkable and unexpected.
Well, now we are done. Final will now be Manchester City versus Inter Milan.
Of course.
Who are you today?
Well, right now, it's too early to call because I'm not a follower of Serie A league, so I cannot actually say this is the performance of the Inter Milan in the league. But I have to right now start studying the team, start studying the players individually, and start studying the coaches, tactics to see how they're able to dislodge the rising power of Manchester City. So until then, for now, I can't do anything. I have to study the team, I have to study the players as well, and look at the coaches' tactics. Of course, he stick to his 3-5-2 formation, but let's hope if that will work against Manchester City at the Istanbul Stadium in Turkey.
Thank you so much. Viewers at home, we have come to the end of this program. Once again, my guest name is Michael Azeez Ogunsiji, the Strong Secretary in Ogun State. Mr. Michael, thank you for coming.
That is my pleasure always.
Good night, everyone.
No. I don't do that.